betting. Start now. Start calling now because we want to hear what you have to say. Who are you betting on? The football action is still there. It's still there. Just because the major leagues are done, the confederations, the under-21 is done, doesn't mean that the action stops. There's still so much. And we're starting things off with the Brazilian Serie A League. That's where we're going, where city rivals Vasco da Gama will take on Flamengo in the 12th round of the Brazilian Serie A. That will be at midnight on Sunday. So for a team that's relatively new in the top flight, Steve, Vasco haven't actually been doing that badly. They're holding their own.
Well, they're trying their best. As I was remarking earlier, you know, Vasco da Gama is named after an explorer. And so as to that, the team itself is trying to explore. They're playing entertaining football, but they're also very, very leaky at the back. They've conceded 22 goals, 7 more than the ones they've scored. So that's a thing that when you meet an attacking side such as Flamengo, that's something that you don't want to have on the back of your head.
Definitely. Mutiso, 6th versus 3rd. As Steve is correctly pointing out here, their defense has been absolutely shambolic, to say the least.
I don't know why they're going contrary to their name, Vasco da Gama. So that was a great explorer, but whenever they're exploring the rest of the country, they're not doing too good. You see, they've lost 2 matches in the last 5, so I don't know what's happening to them. I guess their form away from home is not that good.
All right, but do you see Vasco cooling off Flamengo's hot fire? Because Flamengo are killer right now, Steve.
Well, it's difficult to say. Vasco have been immaculate at home, but this is a Flamengo we have seen this season firing on all cylinders, whether they are playing in continental football or they are playing at home. And of course, it's a common knowledge in Brazil that if Flamengo or Fluminense win the Fla-Flu derby, as they call it, that team always goes on to have a good season. And we've seen Flamengo win the first episode of the Fla-Flu derby, and they're doing good so far. They've not been defeated ever since, and they're scoring and they're defending. So it's going to be difficult for Vasco da Gama, but not entirely impossible.
Not entirely impossible, I do agree with Steve, because their home form has been quite good, not so Mutiso.
Yes, their home form has been quite good. You see, in their last 6 matches, Vasco da Gama has won 5 matches and 1 loss.
At home.
At home,
yeah.
at home. So they're quite strong at home, but then they're coming up with a team that is Flamengo. And Flamengo has been on form both in the international scene and also in the in the local league. So in the last 5 matches, they won all the matches. So I think it will be tough for Vasco da Gama to try and hold their nerve against Flamengo.
Right. Just a point to note, Mutiso is pointing out their last 5 home games. They have been quite impeccable at home. What you're seeing on your screen is a collection of their last 5 games together, both home and away. And as you can see, when it comes to home and away, yeah, it's not as good as home, as Mutiso is correctly pointing out, because they have, what, 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, Steve.
Very much the DNA of a mid-table team.
Right.
Yeah, I think in terms of DNA, that's what they are. But when you look at the teams they're losing to Botafogo, they're losing to Chapecoense, teams that have been in relatively good form this season. So they are competitive, and in both those losses, they did score. So the one thing we all know about this Vasco da Gama team, they're always good for a goal.
Yeah, they're always good for a goal, maybe both ways, because they'll score and they'll also concede the goal, you know. Yeah. But as Steve is saying here, Vasco can do quite well at home, but Flamengo, on the other hand, are both good away and at home. Let's have a look at their last 5 unbeaten. Mutiso.
Yes, that's what amazes me about Flamengo. They're on form both locally and also on the international scene in the South American League. So I think, judging by their form, you can see that in 5 matches they've won against Palestino, they've won against Sao Paulo, they've won against Santos, they've won against Bahia, and also Chapecoense. So I think Flamengo, judging by their form, they're a team on form right now.
Yeah, but so many Vasco players are missing. Let's get back to Vasco da Gama, because a lot of Vasco players are missing, either through injury, suspension. What's the situation then? How costly will it be?
Yeah, they're not having Breno, they're not having Jean, and they're not having Douglas. All because of suspension this weekend. And when you're playing against a team such as Flamengo, this is a big blow, but it could also be a big pickup for the younger players or some of the fringe players. They might be seeing this as their chance to go and let's say nail down a first team place and show how good they are.
All right, head to head, these two teams have faced off 58 times. Vasco da Gama winning it 19 times, Flamengo taking it 22. The two teams have drawn 7 times between them. Let's have that up. 58 times. So as you can see there, it's pretty much quite balanced, Steve. We can't really say that one really has the edge over the other. 17 times rather that these two teams have drawn.
Yeah, these are teams that I think know each other well, and if you look at their record, although sometimes we obviously usually say on this show that the record sometimes is just a statistic and it doesn't matter that much.
Right.
But this just shows how close they are together.
Okay, Mutiso, what about you? Based on all this, the head-to-head, the last 5, their recent form, suspended players, who do you see taking this?
Flamengo. I see Flamengo taking this because what I see in Flamengo is that they have depth in their team. They have too much depth and they'll be too good for Vasco da Gama, because if they can maintain the same form and also be consistent in both locally and internationally, then I think there will be too much for Vasco da Gama.
So you see Flamengo win by how many goals?
It will be a close call because Vasco da Gama are also good at home.
Right.
So I think a 2-1 for Flamengo.
A 2-1. So you're seeing it being an over 2.5?
Yes, an over 2.5.
All right. High stakes that Mutiso is calling out there, because for a team that's been so good at home, Vasco da Gama, picking up 15 points out of a possible 18 at home, Steve, do you see them being pipped by Flamengo?
What I can say conclusively about this game is that both sides will score a goal. And that's something I can say without fear of contradiction.
I've missed that saying from you.
Yeah, so I think I'll put it as a goal. Whoever wins, these are the games that might be determined by the smallest of margins. We was discussing this with Mutiso, and we were discussing the final last weekend, and I was telling him such
The
games,
final of the?
the final of the Confederations Cup between
Right.
Chile and Germany.
Yeah.
And I was telling him such games are as determined by such small margins, and that's what I can say about this tie, because these are two equally competitive teams which have clear strengths.
Either way, I say big up to Vasco da Gama, because it's a team that's literally coming to the top flight a season, 2 seasons ago, Steve.
Yeah, this is a team that's fighting with the big boys.
Right.
And it's always good to rally behind these teams. But there are only 2 ways that this can go. They can start with a lot of steam and end up struggling for relegation, as many teams do. Or they can try and see if their push can get them that coveted Copa Sudamericana place or that coveted Copa Libertadores place. Who knows what else they might get.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Mutiso going for a Flamengo 2-1 win. Flamengo to win it away, according to Mutiso. You're going for a goal between the two teams. We'll see about that. Let me give you the odds. It's 3.76 for Vasco da Gama to take it. It's 3.39 for a draw. It's 2.04 for Flamengo to take it at the Regatta Club Stadium. So we'll see about that. You've heard what the pundits have to say. Let's quickly move on to yet another game in the Brazilian Serie A. Botafogo will be taking on Atletico Mineiro. That will be at 1 a.m. These games, I'm telling you, always happen when half of Africa is asleep. But that will be at 1 a.m. on Monday, July 10th. It's 10th versus 8th. To you, Mutiso.
But Botafogo, as you can see, head-to-head they've played 38 times, and with Bota winning 18, and Atletico Mineiro, which is the former team for Ronaldinho Gaucho. I love that guy. He's a legend in football.
Everyone loves. I'd like to see one human being on earth who doesn't like Ronaldo.
I'd like to see him coming to Kenya, just like Samuel Eto'o comes to Kenya and goes to Laikipia. I'd like to see Ronaldinho coming to Africa, coming to Kenya, and gracing our football friends here in Kenya.
From your lips to God's ears. We'll see about that. But yeah, they're head-to-head 38 times, you were saying.
Yes, with Atletico Mineiro winning 9 and drawing 11. So it will be a close call. This is a mid-table team. And there's an interesting thing about mid-table teams. This team are playing Botafogo with 8th place and Atletico Mineiro in 10th place. So it will be a close call. You've seen Botafogo in the last 5 matches. They've actually lost 3 times and won 2 times. So I think at home, they're not that good.
All right. So Bota experiencing fatigue, though, Steve, in your point of view, because they have just come from playing the Copa Libertadores.
They've played Copa Libertadores in the last few weeks. They've played Brazilian Cup action. They've played Brazilian League action. Botafogo are also tired, but also Atletico Mineiro are not the fresh people that we all tend to think. And let's also keep in mind that only 3 games ago, these two teams faced each other with in that result Mineiro coming on top by only a 1-0 margin. So it's something more of a revenge mission for Botafogo, and for Atletico they want to assert their dominance even more on this team.
All right, let's check out Atleti's last 5 games. You're hearing they had faced off about, what, a few weeks ago, Steve?
Yes.
With Mineiro winning it, just pipping it 1-0 against Botafogo. So let's have a look at that, because Mineiro has had 3 wins. The latest game was a loss against Wilstermann, and they did have a draw 4-5 games ago against Sport Recife. So have they been conceding? Have they been scoring a lot, Mutiso?
They've been scoring not very good, because only one game that they scored 3-1. The other matches have been 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, with a loss of 1-0 to Wilstermann, a win of 1-0 with Botafogo. They won against Chapecoense 1-0. And what I like to say about Botafogo, unlike Flamengo has depth, but I don't think Botafogo, they have depth in their team. That's why they're giving priority to the Copa Libertadores, and that's why in the league they're not doing so good.
All right, speaking of that Copa Libertadores, they did take it 1-0 against Nacional. Let's have a look at their last 5 games. That 1-0 was actually a very interesting game for me, Steve, because that goal came in about the 35th, 36th minute. And then after that, they just played an extremely defensive game. So do you think that they're, slowly shifting towards more defense?
Such is the beauty of South American football.
Right.
Such is the beauty of having a tactical setup, because look at the coach. He probably saw this is Atletico Nacional. This is the team that got to the Copa Sudamericana final last season. Of course, the Chapecoense incident was a bit, but this is a strong team, the strongest team in Colombia, and one of the strongest. And that's how you play against such a team. You get your chances, you take your chances, and you try and beat them on the counter. And that's what he did. Yeah. And when you look at their last 5, Botafogo, they've lost. And all the 3 games they've lost in the league. Except, of course, that result against Mineiro, which was in the cup. So right now, I think after winning that national game, they'll play with more freedom. They'll play, I think, with a bit more tactical flexibility and definitely more confidence, because Mineiro lost their own continental tie against Wilstermann in the week during the week. Yeah. So they want to compensate. All
right. So Botafogo getting a much needed win there. It was on Thursday night, right? Yes. Very much needed win on Thursday night against Nacional. I mean, it broke consecutive 3 losses. So that must have been a confidence booster for them. But let's have a look at the odds, because it is 2.24 for Botafogo to win it at home. It's 3.31 for a draw, and it's yet another 3.31 for Mineiro to take it away. But I do tend to agree with what Mutiso is saying. Maybe Botafogo giving a bit more preference and priority towards the Copa Libertadores, because their league form has been quite poor. Maybe they're going to break it this time. Do you think they will break their bad league form with a win? And if so, by how many goals, Steve?
I think they'll break it with a win. I don't think this will be a goal fest to some extent.
Right.
I think Botafogo will want to do some good game management. They've been losing to some sides which are not relatively that strong. They've lost to Avaí, a team that's on bottom of the league. So they want to redeem themselves.
All right. What about you, Mutiso?
Okay, here is a 8th place team versus a 10th place team, and it will be a close call for me. And something which is surprising against Brazilian teams playing against themselves, they don't score a lot of goals. But when playing in the international matches, they score a lot of goals, save for the win for Botafogo against Nacional. Yeah. And here I'll see an under 2.5. Because I don't see many goals in this match.
You don't see many goals. That's what Mutiso is saying. He's going for an under 2.5. What are you going for? Call us and let us know. 0711046444. Let those calls come in. We want to hear from you. Let us know on this or any other thing that we're talking about tonight. On that note, let's take a break. I will see you shortly. Don't go far.
Hamarĩtwa makwa njĩtagwo nyina wa Karo na ndutagĩra wĩra gũkũ Keno. Hakwa nĩ ngenete mũno nĩ ũndũ wa matawa maya twekĩrĩirwo, tondũ tene twatũraga gũkũ tũinũkaga thaa 1 na rĩu thaa ici tũinũkaga kinya ona thaa 6 tũkĩendia indo ici citũ cia thoko. nĩ ũndũ wa ũndũ ũcio rĩ nĩ tũkenete mũno nĩ Uhuru na thirikari yake yothe.
The National Super League is not for the faint-hearted.
Kama wewe si mwanaume sidhani kama unaweza cheza, ni ball ngumu sana.
Playing the NSL is more difficult than playing in the Premier League.
With the largest number of clubs in the land, only those with experience achieve.
Nimeenda Ujerumani, nimesoma mpira.
And I've done my diploma in Brazil.
With the largest pool of talent, only those clubs with strategy win.
When people run headlines that say KCB vaults raided and they are referring to the football club being relegated, that sounds off. So we had to clean it up very quickly.
With diverse ambitions, only those clubs with a vision thrive.
We'll be listed on the stock exchange. We want to have our own stadium.
Don't miss NSL Club Life only on Bomba Sport.
Welcome back. It's the odds where you can call in live right now at 0711046444 and let us know on our question we have been asking you. Who do you think will win the COSAFA final between Zimbabwe and Zambia? The two teams have won it 4 times, so who's going to break the record that is and win it a 5th time? Let us know. Call in and let us know who will win that game. Let's move on. The CONCACAF Gold Cup will be starting on Saturday, but let's look at Monday's game where USA will take on Panama. That will be at 1 a.m. on Monday, July 10th. Now, these two, Mutiso, have generally been considered the best of their group. So, safe to say maybe the winner of this game might turn out to be the eventual winner of the, the whole group, yeah?
Of the Gold Cup.
Maybe not even the Gold Cup, but just this particular group they're in.
Yeah, I guess so. But you say over the years, the last couple of years, I don't think they are asserting their authority. I mean, Mexico is coming in, and you can see Mexico played in the Confederations Cup, and USA missed out for, I think, the second time. This is the second time they're missing out, and yet before they were coming in, after every 4 years, they were coming in, they were turning up for the Confederations Cup. So USA, for me, nowadays, they're not assertive as they used to be. And with Panama also on the rise, because a couple of weeks ago, I had bet against them when they were playing Costa Rica, and actually, they held Costa Rica to a draw. I lost my money.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. But I know you'll bet rightly in this one and you'll get your money back. Steve,
I feel like paying his fare on the way out. He's saying, I lost my money. But anyway,
Steve, give us the head-to-head of these two teams.
Well, these two teams have met several times. They've played 18 times. USA has won 13 times.
Wow.
Panama has won twice, and they've drawn thrice. But we throw that out of the window, because right now we are seeing a USA side in which the coach Bruce Arena, a very experienced coach, is trying to put some of the younger players, some of the unknown players into the squad. We are not hearing the Josie Altidos. We are not hearing Clint Dempsey. We are not hearing all of those big names. We are hearing the new names like Dwyer, who could have chosen to play for England but played for America. We are hearing to some veterans who were always on the bench. Now they are starting every game. The Zades, Graham Zusi. So we are waiting to see a new US side.
All right. And speaking of a new US side, a new Panama side as well, because they've also left out very key veteran players who maybe would have lent a lot of experience to the team. Mutiso.
No, I don't know much about Panama, because they're just sprouting up, because they were largely unknown in the international scene. But then again, right now you see the way they are defending against matches. They're not conceding that many goals, and I think that's why they'll get USA on the counter. And at least right now they're playing with those veteran stars like Roman Torres, Luis Tejada, and also Blas Perez. But their key player is Animal Godoy. He's a youngster, and I think he'll quite have he's trying to have a good match against USA.
All right, and the US also, as you were saying, has a very young team. A lot of people saying maybe they are lacking international experience, but in my opinion, that's the same thing people said about Germany before the Confederations Cup.
That's the same thing everybody says about everyone. My philosophy is the same. If you're good enough, you're old enough, not only in football, but in life. And that's certainly what we are seeing with the USA. Look at a kid like Christian Pulisic. You can't say just because he doesn't have international experience he's not good. He's playing at Borussia Dortmund. Look at John Anthony Brooks. He's the most expensive American in Europe right now. He's worth 20 million. He's transferred to Wolfsburg. You can't say that he's not good enough.
Right.
If nobody gave him the chance, he wouldn't have become that good of a player.
That's
so I
very
think
true.
if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Very true. I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's have a look at USA's last 5 games. It's been a bit inconsistent from them. Unbeaten, yes, but it's looking more like Manchester United's unbeaten, just full of draws, and dubs and 2 wins. Muti, so what do you make of this?
Well, they earned me money last week against Ghana.
Right.
I had predicted that match to be a goal, and it indeed went a goal for a goal. And there were only two guys that are recognized in that USA squad. Only Christian Pulisic and Matt Miazga. And it was quite surprisingly, because all the guys that I've been hearing in the USA team, they were not there. The regulars, they were not there. The likes of Clint Dempsey, just like my friend Stevie pointed out. And in this match, you can see by the form of USA, they've had a topsy-turvy form. They won against Ghana, yes. They drew against Mexico, who are now an upcoming force in the CONCACAF side of the world.
Right.
And they won against Trinidad. They drew against Venezuela, and in the first leg they drew against Panama in a 2-2 draw. Okay. So that's quite surprising because I'm not used to USA doing this bad.
Yeah, they have been actually dominating that side of the world for quite a while. Some calls coming in. Can we pick one call? Can we? Hello?
Jambo.
Hello?
Jambo.
Jambo, habari yako?
Nzuri sana.
Yes, waitwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Adam.
Adam.
Yeah. Transfer ya Manchester United imekuaje?
Transfer ya Manu?
Yeah.
Okay, ngojea tunaongelelea sio Confederations Cup rather, but CONCACAF. Iyo tunaiguzia tu sahi right now. Thanks for calling, Adam. Next, let's take in another call. Hello?
Hello, you are speaking to Jeffrey.
Hello?
Hello, I'm
Yes, hi, how are you? Hello? Okay, bad connection there. Can we get in another call? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hi, how are you? Habari yako? Hello? All right, let's move on. So as we were saying, Ghana's, or rather USA got a confidence booster there from Ghana. So let's have a look at Panama's last 5 games because it's also looking unbeaten. I don't know if there's a loss in there, but it's looking unbeaten. But as we like saying, hey, it's that unbeaten for Manu, eh? A lot of draws, but these guys aren't unbeaten. As we can see, they did get in a loss there against Trinidad and Tobago, Steve.
Yeah, of course. If you are to lose to a team, you lose to a team with a name as romantic as Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, just thinking about the beach.
It reminds me of that reggae song that goes Trinidad, Trinidad. But anyway,
Steve, you're not known for your vocals.
Well, okay, now someone is roasting me. But on the drawing side, as Situma actually said, one of the characteristics we've seen of Panama in the last few games is solidness. That 2-2 draw against Honduras, that 0-0 draw against Costa Rica, that 1-1 draw against the USA. These are things that make international teams. They're teams that win championships by just getting that defensive solidity. So if they bring this into the tournament and they implement their game plan and manage to steal a goal forward, they find themselves in the semi-finals. And as you know, when you find yourself in the semi-finals, anything can happen.
All right, we'll see about that. The odds are looking more towards USA. It's 1.70 for the team to take it. That's US. It's 3.30 for a draw between the two teams. And it's 4.79 for Panama to take it against the United States of America. Your prediction, Mutiso?
I think here I'll play safe. USA are not doing that good. And also for Panama, they are drawing against big teams. Honduras is a big team in the CONCACAF, and also Costa Rica is a big team there. USA is a big team. They drew in the first leg, and also they lost against Trinidad, which is not that badly off. And also I think here, judging by their form in the last 5 matches, even if they have not won any match, they've drawn four matches, and I think they'll give USA a run for their money. And in this match, I think I'll predict for a 1x.
A 1x, that's Mutiso's prediction. What about Steve's?
Well, as much as I'd like to agree with Mutiso, which I would, I don't like actually, I'm joking. I've watched USA play against Ghana.
Right.
They were notoriously bad on set pieces. That's something Panama can latch on. But I don't think still that Panama has enough attacking power. I saw Ghana with all its attacking might. Asamoah Gyan, he actually missed another penalty by the way in that game. Yeah, but he scored a stunning free kick, so he compensated. You saw the likes of Ebenezer Ofori, Frank Achiampong, they couldn't go past a solid but youthful US defense.
Right.
So I think this is going to be a US win because I think they have a better balance than Panama.
Okay, we'll see about that. More calls coming in. Hello? Hello? Hello there. What's your name?
My name is Isaac from Pipeline.
Yes, Isaac from Pipeline. Tuambie.
Mi naona napatia USA direct.
Unaona USA wakichukua against Panama?
Naichukua hii saizi tu.
Okay, unaona wakiscore how many goals?
Hiyo nawapatia 1-0.
1-0. So auta bet over 2.5 hapo.
Nitapatia direct 1-0 juu. Hapa hivi Panama inajua kudefend. That's why napatia 1-0. Juu in the process ya kudefend watapatiwa moja sasa.
Okay, asante sana. Thanks, Isaac from Pipeline, going for USA. They are straight USA win. Let's take in another call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi. What's your name? Hello, please reduce the volume on your TV set. And what's your name, please? Okay, let's take another call. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, waitwa nani?
Ni Deno kutoka Rongai.
Sema Deno.
Poa.
Tuambie.
Hii naona hiyo game inaweza toka draw.
Game ya USA na Panama? Unaona ikienda 0-0 ama draw ya 1-1?
Kanaweza kuwa ka goal hapo hivi.
Unaweza ona ka goal hapo? Sasa ulibet na nani last week?
Kwa game ya USA ama?
Kuna game yoyote ulibet nayo under 21 kulikuwa na Confederations?
Hii kende nilikuwa busy.
Okay. Thanks for calling. Let's take in another call. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hi. What's your name?
Ibra.
Please, ongea na nguvu kidogo.
Ibra.
Sema Ibra, una bet na nani?
USA.
Unaona USA wakichukua hii game? Hello? Okay, thanks Ibra for calling. A lot of callers just going for USA. Some are seeing the United States taking it. So you don't agree, Steve, or?
Hello? Well, I think it's just going to be a direct USA win for me.
All right.
Because they, as I said earlier, have more balance going forward and backward than Panama. Panama have the right balance defensively.
Despite their horrible set pieces.
Despite their, I said set pieces, they're not perfect. Not everybody is perfect, except me, of course. But not every football team is perfect.
All right, guys, let's go to Mexico versus El Salvador very quickly because Mutiso, surely this cannot be the same team that played the Confederations.
It will still be the same team that played the Confederations.
No, you know what I mean. This surely can't be the same team. Either Team B or more fringe players.
No, not really, because they're trying to build on their form, and they'll be on. They were on form in the Confederations. You saw how they played against Portugal, even if they lost against Portugal, and also in the semi-finals against Germany, where they dominated the match. And I don't think the coach will want to change that. Will want to be more consistent, because in the last 5 matches we've seen they won 3 times, and I think he'll try and build up on that. And I don't think El Salvador in the last 5 matches winning 1, I don't think they'll hold their nerve against Mexico.
A quick one. Do you think it will be that case, Steve?
First of all, I'd like to correct my brother a little bit. It's a totally different team from the one that played in the Confederations Cup.
Yeah.
It's a team. Mexico coach Juan Carlos Osorio, while he was at the Confederations Cup, left his assistant with another team that was preparing for the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and they've been playing a few friendlies. They played against Ghana where they won 1-0, and that's been good. Actually, Ghana has been on a tour of that area and has been helping the CONCACAF teams doing their friendlies. But still, it has a lot of quality. It has some of Mexico's most promising talent. Juan Carlos Osorio, after the Confederations Cup, said that people think Mexico is a top team because it plays well in the World Cup, but as a country we have a lot to do. That's why he decided to choose a whole local based team apart from 5 players who still just play all around in teams like in MLS. So very key to Mexico. The new Mexico side is Alan Pulido, the former Olympiacos striker, and also the most expensive Mexican playing in Mexico. If you remember well, he was kidnapped in 2015.
All right.
So he's a good player.
Okay, guys, let me give you the odds. You tell me how you're gonna bet. It's 1.28 for Mexico to take it. It's 4.83 for a draw. It's a whopping 8.73 for El Salvador. Too many L's, too many R's. It's confusing.
El Salvador.
For El Salvador to take it, Mutiso. 8.73 is quite something.
Since Spain disappointed me last weekend in the under-21 finals.
I told you Situma was ululating from the mountaintop.
The whole week has not been good for me.
Right.
And I've lost a lot of money this week. And I think I'll start playing safe this weekend. I'll try to be safe, at least bring back my golden touch.
Okay.
And in this match, I could say I'll put over 2.5 for Mexico, but I'll just put a straight win for Mexico.
Okay.
Because that's safer for me.
Okay, so King Midas going for a straight Mexico win. What about you, Steve?
I'll also go for a straight Mexico win because I saw their warm-up game against Ghana and they were immaculate. Despite only having a 1-0 win, they played against a full-strength Ghana squad. And as I said, Alan Pulido will be good. And of course, one of Mexico's most upcoming defensive talents, Jose de Jesus Corona, will also be there. He's being scouted by Bayern Munich currently.
All right, so based on that, let's take a break. Coming up next will be Steve and Mutiso's multi-bet. It's quite a cocktail from what I'm seeing with me right now. We'll delve into that right after the break.
Marrying, parenting, schooling, go.
Achieve your dreams with the KCB Gold Savings Account. Set the amount you want to save and how long you want to save for. Deposit as you like monthly for free. Freestanding orders plus enjoy Kenya's highest earning rates of up to 8.5%. Visit any KCB branch now and open a KCB Gold Savings Account. KCB Bank. Go ahead.
When it's Monday night, then it's time for much-awaited football banter.
Well, look no more.
Get all the goals, in-depth analysis, and the latest news in the world of football.
Join me, Ida Orenga, every 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Monday Night Football, right here on Bamba Sport, the home of true fans. Notice. Right, so it's multi-bet time right here on the odds with me, Ida Orenga. This is Bamba Sport. So let's quickly start off with Steve's multi-bet, who took us to USA versus Panama, but we've already discussed that. So he went for a straight USA win, as have many callers who've called in, just going for the Americans. So we can move on to the next one, which is a goal. Steve?
Yeah, we have Jiangsu Sainti, also known as Jiangsu Suning, and they face Shanghai Shenhua. And this is a very, very bad time for Jiangsu Sainti, which is actually coached by Fabio Capello, former FIFA World Coach of the Year, to be at that position. They are not scoring. They are at the bottom of the league. They are being weighed down by AFC Champions League games, and their top scorer Alex Teixeira is in bad form. So they are facing a Shanghai Shenhua side which has people scoring on all cylinders. They have Carlos Tevez scoring. They have my favorite Obafemi Oba Martins scoring on all sides. I know probably when Mutiso was in Harambee Stars they faced him once or twice. So
did you Mutiso?
They know how potent he is.
Not while I
striker.
was playing, because I never faced Nigeria.
Oh.
I only faced the Arabs a lot of times, and we were beaten a lot of times. I lost count.
Okay, but he's a potent striker.
He's a potent striker.
We've seen him at Newcastle, at Levante, and even at Kansas when he was in the MLS.
And
so
he's
I
been
think
there ever since I started playing football.
Yeah,
and he's still there.
And he's actually still 31. Anyway, so for that game, I think since of all the attacking talent we have on display, I think we'll just give that one a goal instead of saying who will win. Then of course we did discuss Mexico versus El Salvador. So I'll jump straight to another Chinese Super League game, which is Yan Bian-Funde versus Chong Kong Li Fan. And this is an interesting one.
Steve,
actually.
how do you say the name so quickly? Because we're all wondering it, so I'm gonna ask it, Mutiso. How are you able to pronounce
them before he comes to the show?
I think this guy literally goes to the bathroom, he looks in the mirror and pronounces them to himself back and forth because it's too fluent, Steve.
You should know people.
Do you know Mandarin? Do you know Mandarin? Do you speak Mandarin?
Mandarin knows me. Anyway, back to the game.
Right.
We were discussing this game between Yan Bian-Funde and Chong King Li Fan.
Yeah.
And we saw last week Yan Bian-Funde play Guizhou Zicheng, which is Michael Olunga's team, in a very dramatic game. And they actually got their first win in 6 games. So this is a team that's on the up, but they are so weak defensively. In fact, that game was supposed to be a draw. There was a controversial goal by Michael Olunga ruled out. So we saw their defense. It's really, really not doing well. The only savior they have is Boubacar Travali, the Guinean striker, who's doing really well up front. So I think by virtue of this Chong King Li Fan, which has been in mid-table, they might be able to score past Yan Bian-Funde. And for me, this is a win for them.
All right. So Mutiso, what about you? Having a look at Steve's multi-bet, do you see anywhere that he might lose some money? You keep saying you want your golden touch back.
If we can have that screen of Steve multi-bet again.
Right.
Because I want to correct Steve, just like I corrected Stuma last week.
Well, there you have it.
Yes. He's giving a straight win for USA, and I've discussed here that I'll try and be safe, because you can see all those odds USA is being given, and yet they are at home with Panama. And I'll go for a 1x again, I say. And when the second multi-bet between Jay Senti and Shanghai Shenhua, when the odds are that close, I always try and put GG. He has put GG, and I think I'll agree with him.
Right.
Like once in a while, for Gremio. Tokyo Verdy versus Fagiano. This Tokyo Verdy is a team that lost me money last weekend, together with Spain when they lost to Germany. And Tokyo Verdy lost against Roasso Kumamoto, a team which is 15th in the league. And they were beaten 4 goals. And I was very disappointed in that match. And I think they'll try and dust themselves in this match, and they'll beat Fagiano by at least 2-0.
Oh.
And it's a straight win for me. Tokyo Verdy beating Fagiano. In the other match, Corinthians versus Ponte Preta. Corinthians also a team on the rise. They are number 1 in the league, and it will be a straight win for them against Ponte Preta.
Yeah, I mean, Corinthians have been doing exceptionally well in the Brazilian Serie A so far. Almost untouchable, you know. Steve, where do you see him going wrong?
I see him going wrong in Santos versus Sao Paulo. And the reason I see him going wrong is for reasons he has mentioned himself. He saw himself for how many goals he scored during midweek in the Copa Sudamericana. They are in a scoring mood.
Yeah.
And Sao Paulo have not been doing as well as everybody expects Sao Paulo to do. This is a team that has produced legends in the past. Right now, it's not doing very well. So I think this game has the potential of having at least 3 goals for me. That's why under 2.5 for me looks a bit far-fetched, and under 3.5 would have been a much safer bet.
Okay, we'll just wait and see, because I know what I'm saying. In the last 2 weeks, Santos played against Flamengo, and they lost 1-0. And in the midweek, in the international scene, they won 6-2. and I think they play more freely in the international scene as compared to the local scene, where I think they are more reserved. And coming against a Sao Paulo team, which I think they're not underrate, just like you're saying, they're not doing so good. I think it will be a low-scoring match.
All right, so Steve, going for Santos versus Sao Paulo, you're going for an under 3.5,
Yes.
and over 2.5 though.
Yeah, I'm looking at a possible 2-1 scoreline.
Okay, 2-1, that's what Steve is going for. Of course, what, Santos will be at home. Is it Santos who will be at home? Yes, Santos will be at home. Sao Paulo not being in the best form. Santos as well, scoring quite a few number of goals, as Steve is pointing out here. On the other hand, Mutiso just going for a goal. He does want to play it safe. He wants his golden touch to come back. He was missing in action last week, so we'll see about that. So guys, quite a very well done multi-bet. Let's move on. Take a break. Up next, we'll be having a look at the COSAFA final. It's 2 African greats in that particular tournament. It's the final. We'll see who will win it. Don't go far.
When it's Monday night, then it's time for much-awaited football banter.
Well, look no more.
Get all the goals, in-depth analysis, and the latest news in the world of football.
Join me, Ida Orenga, every 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Monday Night Football, right here on Bamba Sport, the home of true fans.
The National Super League is not for the faint-hearted.
Kama wewe si mwanaume sidhani kama unaweza cheza, ni ball ngumu sana.
Playing the NSL is more difficult than playing in the Premier League.
With the largest number of clubs in the land, only those with experience achieve.
Nimeenda Ujerumani, nimesoma mpira.
And I've done my diploma in Brazil.
With the largest pool of talent, only those clubs with strategy win.
When people run headlines that say KCB vaults raided and they are referring to the football club being relegated, that sounds off. So we had to clean it up very quickly.
With diverse ambitions, only those clubs with a vision thrive.
We'll be listed on the stock exchange. We want to have our own stadium.
Don't miss NSL Club Life only on Bamba Sport.
Zero 0711046444 is the number that you can call in live and direct to talk to us. This is The Odds with me, Ida Orenga, right here on Bamba Sports. It's the number that you're currently seeing on your screen there. So we've talked about so much. We've talked about the multi-bets. They've given us a guide on how they will be betting, their cocktail of games that they will be betting on this coming week. We have already talked about the Brazilian Serie A, who's doing well, who's likely to flop a bit in the coming bit. And we've also talked about the CONCACAF Gold Cup that will be starting on Saturday. We have touched a bit on next week's game. So finally, it's time to touch on the COSAFA. Hey, I'm telling you today, English was brought on a ship, Stephen Mutiso. But it's finally time to talk about the COSAFA final that will be between Zambia and Zimbabwe. That will be happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. It's a good game that will give us quite a bit of much needed football action. Some saying it's been a bit dead since the Confederations weekend last weekend that gave us so much. So the last 1 week has been a bit, we'll see about that. But we have been asking you, who do you think will take it? Both these two teams are quite great in this competition already. Let's get your predictions.
Mimi naona hiyo game itakuwa ni game moja mzito sana, isipokuwa Zambia wanaweza kushinda hiyo game kwa sababu wao unajua kuna wakati walicheza wakaingia Africa Cup of Nation waka qualify na tena wakachukua hiyo kikombe. Na Zimbabwe hata wanajaribu lakini mimi nampatia mpato Zambia.
I'm sure it's a big rivalry between both teams, Zambia and Zimbabwe. Basically, I've watched both teams are playing almost a similar brand of football. So I think on paper, Zambia are the favorites, taking into consideration that they have a very good development of the youth program. We've seen what they did during the World Cup, Youth World Cup in Korea. And taking into consideration also that Zambian football has been on a great high as opposed to the Zimbabwean game. But basically, I would say Zambia getting to the finals, they've played very well. Zimbabwe had to struggle a bit.
Kwa upande wangu mimi napatia upato Zimbabwe sana kwa sababu kwa wakati huu sana tuseme Zambia imejaribu sana kwa muda mrefu, imejaribu sana, lakini kwa hizi michezo za hivi punde nimeona Zimbabwe ikijaribu kunoa makali yake kama strikers na upande ya defense wakijipanga vizuri, huenda mambo yakabadilika, kwa sababu kwa upande wa Zambia wako na ile confidence kwamba wanaweza shinda. So kwa matumaini yangu najua kwamba huenda kama Zimbabwe watajisatiti vizuri, wajaribu kupanga forwarding pale mbele na mambo ya upande wa strikers na defense. Wakinoa makali pande hiyo najua wataangusha, kwa sababu tayari wako na ile confidence kwamba watashinda. So najua wakiweka mkazo zaidi lazima hii kitu wanaweza chukua.
So there you have it. We sampled some of your views, and that's what majority of you are saying. Many of you going for a Zambia win. Mutiso, it's like a lot of people are forgetting that Zimbabwe have also won it quite a number of times in this competition.
Yes, the thing that is amazing me in the South African teams, that they're coming out from the shadows of South Africa. You know, South Africa in the last 2 decades, they've been overshadowing the South African teams, the likes of Zimbabwe, Zambia, Namibia, Mozambique. They've been overshadowed the last 2 decades by South Africa. Same for Zambia when they won the AFCON a couple of years ago. And in this match, I don't see a win for Zambia because in the preliminaries,
the R's, the L's, you see.
In
the early stages.
In the early stages of this tournament, Zimbabwe have not won all their matches, but Zambia has not won all their matches, but Zimbabwe have, and they've won quite a lot of money in the group stages and also in the knockouts, because they've been all their matches have been going over 2.5. I saw them beating Swaziland 4-0, and I'm amused by the scoring touch of Zimbabwe. But then again, Zambia has a very strong local league. You can see Kenyans are trooping in that. We have now 5 Kenyans in the Zambian league, and also SuperSport have tried to invest so much in that league. And in this match, I see a draw for both teams, a draw for the match, and maybe a 1-1 draw. So that's my prediction for this match.
All right, so Mutiso going for a 1-1 draw. Now, Steve, based on the journey that these two teams have taken to get to the final, who is looking stronger to you?
None, because all of them have been playing, according to me. I think I usually tend to possess an eye that sees more of the bad things people are doing in football. They have deplorable defenses. You look at Zambia, their semi-final against Tanzania, which I had the privilege of watching. They lost. They won 4-2, but they had to come back from behind after Erastus Nyoni had already put Tanzania ahead, and it was very bad to watch. You know, conceding all types of goals. And Zimbabwe versus Lesotho was even much worse. It ended 4-3. I mean, a game in which Lesotho even got their last goal in the last minute. So for me, defensive wise, I've been seeing that and I've been cringing. But I think for the football fan who loves seeing goals, they're loving this COSAFA tournament. And I think that's what we are going to see in the final. We are going to see goals, goals, and goals. So whoever will wake up on the more shooting side will be okay.
But Steve, surely for a final, will we expect that many goals? Because that's the narrative about a final. You know, a team will score so many, and then the final will be quite a bit dry. People will be bored. It will be drab. So do you really expect maybe an over 2.5 for a final?
The one thing I've seen with both Zambia and Zimbabwe teams, they are not the Zambia and Zimbabwe teams we see every day, because they're all teams full of fresh players. Zambia actually managed even to put 1 or 2 players from the Under-20 World Cup. So these are young players who are out there. In Zimbabwe, they don't have their old stars. They don't have no Kudakwashe Mahachi, no Nyasha Mushekwi, no foreign stars coming in to disturb them. So they are players who are playing with freedom. They want to prove themselves. When you are young, you just want to seal your place in the starting lineup. So I think they'll still play with freedom and they won't be restrained even though it's a final.
All right, definitely. Mutiso, as you've seen from one of the people that we sampled the views from, talking about the youth structures currently in place in Zambia, how crucial has that been towards, producing the top stars that we're seeing right now that, can change a game like this possibly?
You saw what the under-20 side did the under-20 World Cup in South Korea. They were playing so well and the whole of Africa was watching, especially when they went 2-0 up against Italy, but then they crumbled in the latter stages of the match. And they have a strong youth structure, and that's why we see Zambia coming up as a force in the South African teams. And in this match, I don't see that will quite really reflect on this match with Zimbabwe. Both teams have a good defensive record in this tournament, but then again, Zambia has been scoring more goals. Yet, this is a final, and just like in the Confederations finals and also the under-21 finals, there were not too many goals. We can see there are not too many goals in a final, and I don't see both teams scoring many goals. So I think maybe a 1-1 draw for me, or under 2.5.
Okay, and under 2.5 for Mutiso. Some key players, the likes of Mutiso, were just trailblazing through that semi-final. Steve?
Yeah, as I said, and I was remarking this to Mutiso earlier, that semi-final we saw, especially for Zambia versus Tanzania, the Tanzanians actually had a much more experienced squad than Zambia. We were even wondering how they managed to bottle it.
Yeah.
So it's good to see the Zambians showing some of that inexperience, but still that will to win. We have some players like Nyoso who played in under-20 World Cup in defense, and he's been also very good in defense for them at the COSAFA Cup. So we are seeing a situation in which a team is doing really good. Zimbabwe left their top scorer back at home. Their league is still going on, but they're still scoring goals left, right, and center from all parts of the pitch. So scoring is one thing, conceding is another. Yeah. Both teams are conceding heavily. That's why I said we might be settling in for a crack at this one. All
right, head to head, these two teams do have actually a tremendous amount of history between them, because they have played 45 times, Zambia winning it 6, Zimbabwe managing to pip Zambia 8 times, and 21 draws. The only thing that we can be assured of is that this is a final, and not unless it's not unless it's a draw rather, by the 90th minute, there will have to be an eventual winner. Mutiso, where do you think this game will be won and lost for each team? Of course, Steve talking about defense is one.
Yes, I don't think history will be a...
I do have to interrupt you. We have gotten in a very many number of calls, so let me take in one right now. Hello? 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 Hi, what's your name?
Hello.
Hello, hi.
My name is Kevin.
Yes, what's your comment or question for us?
Ninasema Zimbabwe watabeba.
Unaona Zimbabwe wakishinda? Unaona hivyo kwa nini? Unaona hivyo kwa nini? Sababu?
Wako juu.
Wako juu? Watu wa Mugabe?
Wa Mugabe watabeba.
All right, thanks for calling. Let's take in another call. Hello? Hello? What's your name?
My name is Anthony.
Yes, Anthony.
Mimi naona Zambia ikivuzu.
Unaona Zambia wakichukua? Unaona mabao mangapi labda?
Mimi naona mabao matatu hivi.
3-0. Okay, so Anthony, they're going for an over 2.5. Sorry to have interrupted you, Mutiso. Let's get back to your point.
Yes, as I was saying that I don't think history will come into play in this match, and it will all be judged by the form of both teams. And as you saw, Zambia quite struggled against Tanzania. As you said, Tanzania largely dominated that match, and it was not a high-scoring semi-final. But in this final match, I don't see Zambia coming out on top outrightly, and it will be quite a close call.
All right, let me give you the odds, because it's 2.01 for Zambia to win it. As Anthony is quite predicting there, it's 3.09 for a draw and 3.60 for Zimbabwe to take it. So, Steve, let me get a prediction from you and why.
Goal. These are two teams that for the last 3 or 4 weeks at COSAFA have totally butchered the art of defending.
Totally.
Yes.
All right. You look quite disappointed there. What about you, Mutiso?
No, I pride myself on being a defense. I respect a defense that can keep the attackers at bay.
So you're a football purist.
Yes.
All right.
A defensive purist.
A defensive purist
Yes.
also. What about you, Mutiso?
Okay, for me, I'll still stick to my under 2.5. But then again, if you want to make money in this match, you can put a draw. I've seen the odds for a draw is 3.09.
Yeah.
And that's quite a good good money. And both of the predictions, if you put under 2.5 and a draw which is 3.09, you will not lose both predictions. At least one you will win, and you'll recover the money that you lost in the latter.
Okay, let's just have those odds very quickly up on screen to perfectly illustrate what Mutiso is saying. So Mutiso is 3.09 would be a draw by 90th minute. Let's quickly have that up on screen, please. And 3.60 for Zimbabwe to take it. So you're going for, just again for the viewers, because we have to illustrate now.
For a draw, if you want, it's like a double chance, but not quite really a double chance like 1x or x2 or 1-2. That's why I'm saying under 2.5 and then a draw.
All right.
Yes.
Perfect stuff there. We do have to wind things up on that note. Thanks so much for calling as you have done. We wish we could pick up yet even more calls. We don't have the time right now, unfortunately, but thanks so much for calling. That's it from us. Join us again, same time, same place next week, right here on the home of true fans. Good luck, good night, and may the odds be forever in your favor.